If you want to walk around with it, you can undo it and grab the microphone and take it with you.
I'm sorry?
If you want to walk around
Thank
with
you.
it, you may.
Gotcha. Perfect. I think for now you can set it on top of this.
On there?
Yeah, whatever.
What do you want me
All right.
want me?
Can you open this up a little larger where I can see? Let's go ahead.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. Go back to here.
There you go. Well, it's not Google Slides, so no. Go back. That's okay.
I can download it and open it.
I think it's okay.
Still not a go?
That's what it is. Yeah, there you go. I was getting ready to say that might help focus a little bit.
Okay.
Perfect. Oh, yeah. You can be wherever you want. Dun-dun-dun. All right. We'll go ahead and get started here.
Get away and move it.
All right. I want to make sure I can hear okay.
Okay, all right, where it go?
You ready to go?
Got it?
Okay, it's 10 minutes after 5, and we'll get our meeting started for this evening for the Watseka-Planning and Zoning Commission. Kathy, would you like to call the roll, please, for attendance?
Murray Schaumburg,
Here.
Dwayne Purvis, Joel Nazars, Kate Muller, Rick Elliott, Jeff Clare, Suzanne Kennedy. 7 present, sorry.
Okay, this evening, our committee is meeting to review a request from the city of Watseka to reclassify the zoning on the property known as the Muller subdivision, which is located at between East Elm Street and Raymond Road. So before we take any kind of a vote, we're going to have a presentation by the company. We have Carly Macer and Tammy Miller here from the Labor's Home Development Corporation to make a presentation of what they're planning here for the Watseka subdivision. Carly, it's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you all for having us back here in Watseka tonight. It's a pleasure to be in the community and here with you to talk about our project and the zoning. So if we could, I'll go ahead and get started. I think it's just going to be helpful. I know I haven't had the pleasure of meeting all of you. I'm Carly Macer. I am the Executive Director of Labor's Home Development, and this is my coworker and finance director, Tammy Miller with Labor's Home Development. And if it's okay, we would like to just go ahead and really start from the top to share with you a little bit about us, our organization, and the project, and then we can talk about the more details of the project in regards to zoning, if that's okay with all of you. All right, fantastic. So who we are. Labor's Home Development Corporation, an affiliate of the Labor's International Union of North America. We're under the Midwest region. We are a private non-for-profit developer of quality affordable housing in secure and thriving communities. LHDC was established in 1972. We're a little more than 50 years old and been doing a lot of work for several decades. LHDC owns and manages 14 developments with over 904 housing units across the Midwest. Of those 904 units, 202 are dedicated to independent senior living, 626 for families, and 76 units of supportive living for seniors that need assistance. LHDC housing is built with 100% union labor, creating local jobs during both construction and ongoing property management, supporting working families and union contractors. LHDC projects aim to boost local economies, civic pride, and safety while providing access to transportation, employment, education, and healthcare, especially via properties that intentionally connect with nearby services. LHDC remains actively involved in the management and oversight of its properties, ensuring they remain well-maintained, financially stable, and responsive to resident and community needs. LHDC targets underserved and rural areas, bringing high-quality housing opportunities to community that have historically lacked investment in affordable rental development. Go ahead and move to the next one, Mayor. To enhance the living standards of working families and seniors, we are committed to collaborating on development, production, and management of low-cost, affordable housing in secure and thriving communities. That's our mission statement, and we stick to it. How are our projects funded? The majority of Laborers Home Development Corporation projects funding comes from low-income housing tax credits, LIHTC. A 9% tax credit established as Section 42 of the IRS tax code. This is a federal tax credit allocated to each state to be distributed to developers. Additional financial support may come from state, city, and local governments. Go to the next slide. Whoop, I think you might have skipped one. We're going to stick with the city of Watseka. So it's page 5, Mayor. And so with the housing needs and assessment and community revitalization plan that the community finished here in 2023 of March, conducted under the Community Revitalization Technical Assistant Program, Strategic Planning and Reporting Department, Illinois Housing Development Authority, in partnership with the city of Watseka. So I really, Mayor, I know I've mentioned it before, I pulled this information from your housing study that you all did here. Watseka Vision Housing number 2. Number 2 priority, develop more high-quality, affordable rental housing options for families and local workforce, page 93. Affordable rental unit survey. As of 2022, both of the census tracts containing Watseka demonstrated affordability in the rental market of at least 61% for individuals with incomes at the 60% AMI. However, affordability varies greatly between the 9 census tracts, with nearly 82% of rental units in the census tract 9509 south of Watseka affordable to households earning 60% of less of the area median household income, while only 38% of rental units in census tract 9501 showing the same level of affordability. Additionally, 7% of rental units in census tract 9504 are affordable to households earning only 20% of the area median income. And 34% of rental units are affordable to households earning less than 40%. This proportion of affordable rental units to households with extremely low incomes is quite low, which could indicate a need for housing at those levels. That is on page 69. Existing housing conditions, household tenure. In 2019, Watseka had an estimated 2,819 total housing units. Of the 2,363 housing units that were occupied, more than 59.3% represented owner-occupied units, a total of 1,401 units. Watseka's rental population was moderately high for the area, with renters occupying 40.7% of all occupied housing units, equaling a total of 962 units. And that information is on page 37. The next slide.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do you know what the AMI is for Watseka?
I will have to look it up, but I do have it.
You have it
Tammy's gonna,
Get it.
now or?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Okay.
yeah.
I think the group would like, or at least I would like to know what the
Yes, we do have that information for all of you, Mayor, as well. And just so you know, that changes every year. Every year that is updated by the federal government and HUD. Tammy is getting you that. We will take a look at the Watseka Community Apartments. Workforce multifamily community, 50 units, multiple building types with a mix of unit sizes, approximate site area of 9.5 acres, 2-bedroom, 3 bedrooms, and 4 bedrooms, 104 parking spaces, and it is currently a little under $22 million project.
It'll take me a minute. Yeah.
Okay, she's looking that up for you now, Mayor, to give you the exact on what it is currently. We're going to go to the next slide. Watseka Community Apartment Site Plan. Community building for gatherings, services, and resident programs. Pedestrian pathway connecting to Peters Park. On-site playground for children and families. Designed for working families of varying sizes. Modern, energy efficient. Supports active and connected living. You'll see here as we go to the next slide, this is a street view of the renderings of the project. There you go. Go on down to the next one, which would be the community building. And Mayor, I'll also have some additional information in the packet that I handed out to everyone with a few more details as well outside of this presentation. Tammy, I know here in the Watseka Community Apartments, I think we may have had some information on this, but it may be a little different on this slide that we have here. So I'll let you double check that so it's most current.
Yeah. A two-person 30% AMI would be 21,270, while a four-person AMI would be 26,580. They would have to make below that.
Say that again, they'd have to make below that?
Right, they could make up to that or below. So a two-person would be 21,270, where a four-person would be 26,580. Now that's for 30%. Now 60%, a one-person could make 37,260, where a four-person would be 53,160.
They would have to make under that amount.
Right, they could make up to that, but not a dollar over, not even a cent over that amount. And then, you know, hold this
That
for
was
just a second.
60%?
I hope everybody got that,
It's-
understands that or not. 'Cause it's kind of important, it's kind of important to know.
Yeah, it's very important.
They have to have income under those amounts, and that's what they're charged for rental, is the 30% or the 60%, not the 60%.
Right, so, do you want me to go ahead? Yeah, so basically, we are income qualified is how you will be able to live in the units, which means the rents are set, but they're also monitored. We have certain maximum rents that we can go up to. So it's controlled by the state to how much we can charge for units, and it goes by county. So we have that part of it. And how they do that is they say, okay, if your income is 30, you know, if you hit 30% of the AMI, like this unit will be for 30% people, and this unit would be for 60% people. So if you make the 30% amount, then you could live at this unit and you pay that rent. Now, if it's a 60% unit, of course, the rent's gonna be a little bit higher because you make a little bit more. So then
The 60% unit is a higher income.
higher income, so a little bit,
It's a 60%, right?
right. So the higher the percentage, you can make a little bit more, but the rent's also going to be a little bit more.
And I'll tell you a little bit more about the program and how it works too, just so that we can clarify.
I didn't mean to interrupt your
Oh, no.
presentation, but
No,
it's,
that's perfect. We look
it's,
forward
a
to.
real key here on
It is.
Yeah.
what they're trying to learn here.
Absolutely. And we'll look forward to answering any questions today and continuing the conversations with any questions after as well. So let's see here. I know you got it pulled up. We can go on, Mayor, to the Watseka Community what we're bringing to the table here. Impact of laborers' home development, affordable housing in Watseka community. We're going to skip that, Mayor. That's what Tammy just went over. Nobody can see it though.
Talk about,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody else see it.
Change, like she said,
Can't really see it from
every
the-
year.
the audience, but,
Federal.
Yep. And you're on the right one now. Perfect. So the impact that will have: address critical housing needs for working families and seniors, stimulates local economic growth and supports small business, promotes family stability, enhances community vitality with shared spaces and green design, leverages public-private investment for long-term benefits, creates local union jobs and boosts civic pride, supports diverse housing option, encourages sustainable, equitable developments in Watseka. Right. Multifamily housing developments, Watseka. And I would like just to kind of share with everyone to kind of start from the top so that it's, a bit of a complicated how it all works, but I wanted to break it down so that way everybody can understand it from the inside as well. So, housing that is developed as a result of tax credit awards may be developed in a wide variety of styles and with varying amenities. Historically, tax credit developments have included townhomes, duplexes, multi-unit buildings with 50 or more units, and scattered single-family homes. Design, tenant population, and construction decisions, while all holding implications on the cost of constructions, rents charged, and many other factors that are taken into consideration during a project's application period. The following examples highlight the various styles of multifamily housing developments that have been constructed through IDA's tax credit program, which is who we work with. We're going to go to the next page, Mayor. Like I said, I pulled this out of your plans, and it just so happens out of the 4 they showed you as excellent choices, 2 of the 4 are ours. Watseka Housing Needs Assessment and Community Revitalization Plan Funding and Implementation, page 108, examples highlight various styles of multifamily housing developments that have been constructed through IDA's tax credit programs. You'll see these are 2 of our projects here. We have Tiger Senior Apartments in Paris, Illinois. That was a redevelopment that we did. Historic credits, won a lot of awards for that project. And it's doing incredible today. That was a historic rehab project that we did of an old school building. And you'll see Maple Ridge 2 in Paris, Illinois is also new construction. And that is 50 single family homes and duplexes. Looks like you might have a battery problem here, Tammy. But what I want to really focus on as well, Mayor, on the next slide. So I want to just go over very quickly on how Like-Tech works, how low-income housing tax credits work, how it all makes sense. A developer proposes a project to IDA, which is the Illinois Housing Department Authority, wins an allocation of tax credits, completes the project, certifies its cost, and rents up the project to low-income tenants. Simultaneously, an investor makes a capital contribution to the project's owner in exchange for being allocated the entity's LIHTC's over a 10-year period syndication. The program structure, as part of the tax code, ensures that private investors bear the financial burden if properties are not successful. This pay-for-performance accountability has driven private sector discipline to the LIHTC program, resulting in a foreclosure rate of less than 0.01%, far less than that of comparable market rate properties. As a permanent part of the tax code, the LIHTC program necessitates public-private partnerships and have leveraged more than $100 billion in private equity investment for the creation of affordable rental housing nationally. to the next one, LIHTC.
So,
Oh, it's not showing it.
my question is, I kind of speaking out of turn.
Oh, go ahead.
How are the tax credits important to the city of Watseka and to the zoning group?
How are the tax credits
They,
important?
right, that's my
Right.
question.
Yes. So I can tell you why they're important. For number one, I guess I would ask all of you, how do we keep rents affordable for people just in general in any community? How is that possible for a developer or anyone to keep it affordable? So the federal government has for years, it's over 19, I believe 42, maybe a little later than that, now that I'm getting my numbers, thinking through it. But why it is so important, it helps nonprofit and for-profit developers keep rents affordable. How do we have affordable housing? How does that work? How can we build it? How could we break even? Without the tax credits from the federal government that is handed down to each state, developers would not be able to afford to do this. Believe me, it is already very, very serious work. People can do an application. You could have a great project. You could have a community that's 100% supportive, but that doesn't mean that you will be awarded. But why it is so important is it's how we would be able to be in a position to provide affordable rents to your families. It's just not cost effective as a way for us to, a typical developer, let alone a nonprofit organization, to provide the funding for the project, but also of how we keep those rents low. We're required by the federal government and the state to keep the rents at where they know that we need to be per the numbers of what we just kind of explained.
And the tax credits benefit the developer and private and public investors, correct?
Right.
That's how, that attracts them to this project.
Right. Basically, the federal government the state regulates it, but it comes from the federal government. So when they award these tax credits to us, those are available for us to sell to investors. So they haven't cost us anything. They're handed down because we were awarded those tax credits by putting in the application, the QAP, we put in the application. They say, oh, this is a good project, so we're going to give you this many tax credits, right? So then we turn around and we will find an investor to buy those tax credits that they can use in the next 10 to 11 years after the project's built. So we're awarded those tax credits. We go find that investor. That investor gives us equity. They buy them from us. So then they're giving us cash to build with. So anything that we can get from a tax credit, you're not having to find other funding for. It's not going to cover it all, but the more the tax credits we get, the less of the gap that we have to go get a loan for, or another from the state or local government. We may go get some kind of home grant, or there might be something in the local government we get to help support it. But the more tax credits we get from the beginning will be a big portion of how we pay to build.
And I will say too, as a developer, when originally the city of Watseka reached out to us to talk to us about the need for affordable housing and their interest in working with laborers home development, I know that it came from our other communities that we're currently working in and the respect that we have of this work. But also, one of the indicators for someone like me to come and talk to Watseka was because you all had worked with the state and you had been working on your housing study. There's a lot of communities across the Midwest region that need affordable housing. And we want to help, but you're not ready. You're not set up for that. You haven't been working with the right people to put a project in place that would help your community, but also without the state and their hand and us working with them, the project wouldn't be possible. We're not in a position for $22 million project, and without that federal dollars, it just wouldn't be possible.
So you're saying not 100% of the funding is upfront? Is the funding kind of develops as the project goes, as a rental?
Right. The first thing you do is you're going to go out and you're planning all this. I mean, right now we're working on funding, you know, because we're putting our numbers together. So we'll see. Because the tax credits, there's a limit to what you can get on that. And we know what that limit is. And I'd have to look it up to give it to you to know the exact amount. But we know how much that is. When we send that project in, we have to have an idea. We have to have a budget. We have to tell IDA, this is where we plan to get our funds from. So, you know, we're already working on, you know, there's loans that you get just for affordable housing that can be forgiven. So we're already working on finding who we may go apply to with that. And you have to apply for those things just about the same time that you have to apply for the QAP. So you still have to, which QAP is the qualified plan that you give to IDA to get awarded the tax credits. But at the same time, we have to be over here applying for this loan just in case we get approved, because then we're going to need those fundings too. And then there might be home grants that we're going. So we have it all, as you know, us and our consultants are working on it. We're coming up with a plan for all of that. You know, we've talked to the city, you know, on what things we can do and stuff. So it's all in pre-budget, but it all depends on us getting this application in February and then getting that approval. Is it later in
February 25th?
Is when it, but when is it come in October, June? June, we'll find out at that point. So, yeah, so we've got ideas and we've got it planned out, but you're right. Not 100% will come from tax credits, but we will look every avenue to get grants and everything before we do final. You know, if we do at the last resort, we'll have a mortgage at the end.
And also additionally, because we are 100% union built, you know, our projects are more expensive, but you have a guarantee with that. I mean, you just do. So, but if you would like, I would just like to share with you a little bit briefly. It's not coming up on your slide, but I see it here, is the difference between LIHTC, the low income housing tax credits that we're talking about tonight, and Section 8. I want to talk about the differences between those two. And this is something that you could just Google or look up as well to know the difference between the two, but I do think it's important. All levels of housing are incredibly important to every community, but I just want to make sure we're clear about the project we're doing currently here in Watseka with Watseka Flats specifically.
Would you say what LIHTC stands for again?
I am. Yep, it is. It is low income housing tax credits.
Okay.
And I'm going to share with you a little bit about LIHTC, and then we'll go to Section 8. So, low-income housing tax credits, a financing tool that provides tax credits to developers to build and rehab affordable housing. Rents are restricted based on area median household income, but tenants pay rent directly. They pay rent directly to us. There's no middleman to us. No ongoing federal rental assistance to tenants. They deal strictly with us. They come, they apply, we do the criminal background check, we do all the screening of landlord tenants, that all is under us, not the agency of a local housing authority or something as such. Now, Section 8. Section 8 and Housing Choice Voucher Program is a rental assistance program where tenants pay 30% of their income and the government pays the rest. That's not LIHTC. Can be used in private market housing, tenant-based or specific units, project-based. Not our project. Although we do work with folks if the housing authority, which we've researched, I know you don't have here in this county right now, but if there was a need, we would be reaching out and connecting with the community if they had needs. But that is not what LIHTC is. We are not Section 8. Administered by local public housing authorities. That's what Section 8 is. That's not us. The federal government was trying to help make apartments and rentals affordable for families. So Section 8 would be right here. Right here's your market rate. Your market, and right here's LIHTC. LIHTC is there to help working people. You have to have an income to live with us. You have to go through all of it. You're not talking to the folks at the county. No, you're coming in our doors. You're going through our process, which is very strict. And that is just a little bit of what I think is very important. And I can share this too. I know we have in the past, Mayor, with some of the council folks, but I want to make sure that everyone here today really understands the difference, because I know you all are all out in your communities and also concerned and may have questions. I know I care a great deal about the community I live in, and I want to know what's going on. So I'm happy to share all of this information again, as you would like as well with the community. And then real quick, I think this is always an interest in that folks talk about a little bit is, do we pay property taxes? Yes, we do. And I know here, I can help you with that, would be LIHTC properties in Illinois are often assessed based on income rather than market value. The approach reflects restricted rents and affordability requirements of LIHTC properties. Lower assessments help ensure financial feasibility and long-term affordability. The valuation is typically calculated using a formula. Income, expenses equal net. Operating income, which is then capitalized to determine assessed value. Some counties and assessors apply specific methodologies or negotiated valuations for LIHTC housing. Important. Tax treatment can vary by county, so early communication with local assessor is key. And for right now, that's a little bit about Laborers Home Development, about LIHTC, and about who we are and some of our work that we've been doing over the past 50 years right here in Illinois and in the Midwest region.
So Laborers Home Development pays the property taxes. After that, what you just said about the assessment, working with the local assessor, and it's based on rental income, correct?
Yeah, it really depends on the county, and they all have different ways to go about it. But basically, instead of just saying this is what your property is valued at, they look at what our rents are, they look like what our expenses are, and then they come down with a net, and that gives us a lower assessment of our taxes, which will make our, the taxes lower. But we are not excluded from paying taxes at all. So, they can be lower, but yeah.
I'm done. I've talked too much.
Can I ask a question on the tax credits?
Sure, please do.
Okay, if I'm understanding right, the state awards you a tax credit, say $1 million. You in turn sell that to an investor.
Correct.
And how much is it normally sold for? Like 80% or?
It really depends on the time. In times right now they are a little bit lower. I think they gave us, we're just reaching out to some different investors, and I think was it around 82 at this time, 82 cents on a credit. So it's a little bit slim right now.
Okay, so they have the ability to make 18%. So when they pay their taxes, they would pay, that's where they make their money at. They're making the investment to you guys.
Right, they make an investment to us, and then when they go to do their taxes, they can use that as, if they owe that much money, they can use it towards their credits. Right, it gives them a tax credit. So they are also like, it gets very confusing, but while the investor's in it and they're a partner, they also, the income taxes, for the federal income taxes, the property doesn't file them, they flow through the ownerships. So like they can get the breaks from that too. So like, if your property breaks even or makes a little money, but then you put depreciation in it, so then it'll make it negative. So that investor can also get, extra tax credits for that by using the properties.
Sound like you need
You do, and I'm not even going to pretend to totally understand it,
That's
but
what Tammy does.
yes.
Tammy's the money person.
Yeah, so it's very confusing, but that gives them the benefit of want to invest in us. And yes, it's basically at the end of the year, they're going to get credits on what they owe to the government. So, and they get that all back. Whatever they give to us, it's broke down in 10 years. So they get it back within 10 years. So there's, you know, we have a lot of compliance. So we've got a compliance on this 15 to 30 years. So the investor has a compliance of 15 years while they're waiting to get their tax credits back. So we got a lot of people watching us while they get their funds back.
And I will say that this year was an interesting year. We heard a lot about the changes with HUD on a federal level over the past several months. LIHTC is really separate than that in a way that actually they moved it to enhance the opportunity under what the president currently had done earlier this year. So they expanded the program. So when you hear folks talking about HUD, just know that's something completely separate than what we're talking about. Whereas LIHTC, it's more of the investor side. So that program was actually extended to help communities with affordable housing.
So this project's not going to be helped by HUD then?
No.
At the least, it may have a home loan.
At the least.
At the least.
But we don't have that in progress right now, but no, that will not be. Yeah, it is completely separate. So that's why for folks that are doing this work, you know, we now have really less concern about how we're going to figure out helping communities long-term with affordable housing because of the LIHTC expansion and program. Mm-hmm.
I will add that Alderman Don Miller and I took a trip down to Paris and looked at this Maple Grove 2 project. This is going to be very similar to the Watseka project. And coming from a construction background, we were quite impressed with that project. And it has been there for, what, 10 years or something?
I think a little longer than
It was clean, it was organized, we just did a little drive through that development. It was quite impressive. Being that old, you would think it would look dilapidated, and
yeah.
it was. We even took a tour through one of the locations. One of the, I think it was a two-bedroom.
I believe it's 2 bedroom.
And those are very similar to what we're doing
Yeah.
here as well. Just more of a cottage style connectivity.
And I
Yeah.
know this was, some of the paperwork says Watseka Flats, and there's a reason it's called flats, because there's not one step anywhere.
That's right.
You know, sometimes you step 1 or 2 steps into a house.
Yeah.
This is flat in, flat out.
Yeah. And we also,
Compliant and all that.
as you all look at the site map here in front of you as well, one of the things that we were just thinking about for families also was, you know, where you park. It's not just, you know, the street that goes through your laundry space. You know, there's laundry rooms that will be within the apartments too, where you're not having to go across the way for laundry. You're going to park, so if the kids and the family's getting out of the car, they're not along the street. They're really just, and we also have a trail that you'll notice going around the project. I'm a huge trail fan, but it's important to connectivity and for the health and fitness of everyone, and just making sure that we're connecting to the rest of your community that just fits right. So it's a pretty big, important step for us as well.
I'd like to add to that, Watseka Healthcare, it's got a new name now. They had asked sometimes about getting a sidewalk from their facility over to the park.
Yeah.
And I see you have got a sidewalk through your development tying yours with the healthcare and the park. So it makes it more accessible for them with the wheelchairs and stuff.
That's right.
And it would
That was our
benefit
goal.
everybody, it looks like.
Yeah, that was our goal for sure. Well, I'm happy to move forward with the presentation that I have here too. Just briefly, any questions when it comes to zoning?
Any members of the committee?
What's Watseka ever pay for any of the mowing and all that? Somebody else takes care of all that?
No, that's on us. That's all on us. Yeah, no, and fortunately, again, we are the laborers. Just know that when you talk about what a property would look like 10 years later, there's no property we have that none of us in this room would want to live at. I can promise you that. But it's the quality of the work. You don't have 100% union projects and expect for it to not look nice 10, 20, 30 years later. These projects have to look and should be quality. And we also invest in our properties in the long term as well, where we just did a little over $1 million renovation to our assisted living project, which was just recognized by the state as one of the best assisted livings in the country. And so we just did a big rehab there. It looks absolutely stunning. And that project is, how old was that? Is it 2016 on that too? I'm blanking on which.
2006, I think.
Okay, maybe it was, yeah. So anyways, not only do we invest in them in the very beginning, we keep them. A lot of folks in the affordable housing world will sell their projects. It's really what we do with our organization, and our goal is, that's not really the mindset that we have. We want to be invested in the communities where we're at. And I would say for all of you, if for some reason Tammy and I weren't doing an outstanding job at what we are doing there at the community, I guarantee you, if you reached out to our local union office and said, hey, what's going on here? It would be a situation. So you've always got the union as well as the laborers' home development on your side. But we do take our projects very, very serious, and we are very strict about how we do things.
Yeah, and we, like she said, we not only hold on to them, we manage them. So I know I'm the financial director, but I'm very involved on the management side of it too. So we have a maintenance supervisor.
So Don and I, we also met Jamie here, your project manager.
That's right.
And the project manager looks at all of their properties, and there's a local person at each one of your properties now.
Mm-hmm.
And they call Jamie and says, hey, I got a wash machine that's not working, or it's leaking, whatever. They deal with it. Either they deal with it locally, or they handle it through a local repair shop.
So yes, there is also, we hire locally, so to be here from your community, which Laborers Home Development, we do an extremely great job with our employees. We do cover health care. They have pensions, all the things that are really important to the workforce. So we also not only create the jobs locally with the construction side of it, that all comes from the local area, as well as we do hire a property manager and a maintenance folks that would be at the property permanently. And then, yes, we do have a regional team of property managers and maintenance directors, and then compliance is a very, very important part of what we do as well. We have very strict standards that we're held to, as we should by, not just from the state, but those investors and everybody else involved, to make sure we're doing incredible work.
We have a local supplier here this evening. Do you buy materials locally for the construction?
That's for the union to answer. I can tell you for sure, we really have they are the ones that really help facilitate a lot of that. Again, we're signatory, and they are on the side of that. But yes, it all comes from your local union and local area.
I will tell you, as a management team, though, once it's built, we do use the local a lot.
I couldn't hear you, ma'am.
After the project is built, we do use those local stores a lot, whether it's to buy supplies or whether we need a toilet handle or whatever. It's a little bit different when it's being built because the union's involved and they got to do all of that. But once we're managing it, we use a lot of the local shops. It's just handy. There's some things we can't get that we have to ship in, but we do use the local shops a lot.
Right.
Dwayne had mentioned about mowing grass and stuff. I do want to say that the main road going through there gets turned back to the city like any other subdivision does.
Yeah.
And the big plus about that is that's up out of the floodplain, so anybody at the nursing home or Rezoning, something
That's
like that,
right.
will have a way to get through and not fight the water down around the park.
Yeah. And our architect and environmental team is 100% involved with that. And I can tell you right now, IDA, the Illinois Housing Development Authority, would not even be talking to us right now if there was concerns about that. We would have never been supported for this project. So, but our architect and everyone is very, very involved in just making sure we're taking everything serious with the flooding issues that Watseka had over the many years, but also the good work that you guys have done over these last years as well. But just know that's a big part. IDA would never fund a project that potentially would have any environmental issues or flooding. It would be dead in the water very quick. So they've been very, very involved.
Who puts in the roads and the sewers and the water and all that?
That's us. That's us. I can tell you right now in my budget, I think I have a little over $1 million is what the road's going to cost us. And I think it's a little over $1 million for utilities as well.
So whatever the cities did right now is all the cities paying?
That's correct. Yeah, for right now, yes. And as a matter of fact,
For right now, I mean forever.
well, what I would say is on the road specifically, one of the nice things for us is we know that that's so important, but we are looking forward, and we have in other projects that we've completed, turned it back over to the city. We don't expect you all would have any needs for the road for many years other than if it was a snowy day. Right. But that is just another opportunity to support Watseka in your community overall, not just Watseka Flats, but also helps our bottom line to not be in charge of the road long term. But if you all said no, that's not something that would deter us either. We just know how important the road is.
I got a question for Benny. Is the north end of that out of the flood zone?
Eric can answer that.
It is?
It's not in the
I
five,
printed out some flood maps for you. It's all,
Yeah. And
100% out of the special flood hazard area.
it's out of the 500 too, right?
It
There is some 500 here, but still, that's not a regulated floodplain. The nearest
Passing out to them.
zone AE is gonna be Sixth Street, which that is in zone AE. A regulated floodplain.
You must have been ready for that
I was
question.
gonna say. Did you guys talk?
It pops up every now and then.
Murray, which of the lots, this one or the one that they put filled in, that Jim did?
What?
This little fill right here, and that other piece of property that Jim owned,
Yeah,
they hauled a bunch of fill in, which one was that?
we didn't haul it in.
Somebody,
We leveled out the
Red
hill.
pen is the property.
I ran the grader that leveled the hill out.
somebody dumped,
Maybe it's the property that's further back east.
I don't know, but the one they filled up on the north side of it, which I don't remember which one it was.
So this is
Okay.
the property, red pen. This is Raymond Road.
Right.
The brown is 500 year, so there is some 500 year, but this is the regulated floodplain over here, zone AE. This is Sixth Street.
Okay.
Peters Park right here, you can see the ball diamond.
Yeah.
And I know on our last, we do Watseka Flats weekly calls with our development team and everybody involved. And I do know as we are just going over, we just had the environmental done on the property last week. I don't have the results of that. But I can tell you, I know our architect and even the construction team is really paying close attention to the location of everything just to mitigate any issues that we would have. But certainly just working hand in hand with everyone, not only for us, but just the whole local area as we look at that.
City crew's been down there working this week, or last week.
Down there for several weeks.
Okay, good.
Clearing trees and burning trees and.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you said, yeah.
Our guests this evening, any questions over there, Mike? John?
John? Mike?
Well, I can tell you my architect is not here, nor my construction folks, so I can't tell you all of the details about everything, but I would be happy to get your information and make sure we follow up with you, and happy to share that information with you as well.
Are there any plans for like a retention pond?
Not that I'm aware of, there is not.
I do have another question.
Yes.
It goes back to the AMI that you are targeting? Are you targeting like the 30%?
There's a percentage that we are of all, including Tammy. I think do we have a couple of market rates in this project too? Okay.
We're gonna have,
You're asking
like,
the
it's,
wrong guy.
it's really gonna be broken down, so, and split up.
I don't know
Um,
everything. I know you think I do, but I don't.
Like, there's 10, 30%,
I don't know everything.
So out of the 50, there's 10.
10, 30. The rest
Yeah.
of them are gonna be 50 and 60.
Right. Which really are a lot of your folks that are certainly earning, a pay, but just just right there. So that's really what we're targeting. This is workforce housing, which is why we have our bedrooms a little bit larger. We just know for families that's really, really important. So that's really what we are targeting. Although your guys's the Watseka housing study did show that you really need more 30%, but for us and our project, that was where we felt like that would just be a good start for us to be helpful in the community. So it's really 10 out of the 50. Yep.
You can serve everybody that way.
Right. And I did have as well, you can see a few of the renderings. Some of these are pretty new, so you're going to see for you all to look at when you have a little bit more time. Not over the first one, which is just the site plan overall. And then I have here for the community building, I got to tell you, this is really, really neat. This is a unique project that we're doing. So we've been working with a lot of folks in the workforce housing world. And one of the neat things that we're going to be doing with this project that we have not done in the past, knowing that we're in Illinois for one and it's cold outside. So we wanted to do something that really helped families, and fitness and health is going to be really important outside of education in our project. So you're going to see on that community building site plan is where you're going to see the community room itself. You're going to see a computer alcove where if folks, a lot of times you need to fill out applications or things related to jobs, and a lot of times you can't do them on your phone. So we want to make sure that people have that opportunity to work on a computer where they can really get some work done. So you'll notice that. Then you're going to see with the office at the front on the opposite side there is our property manager. And then the wellness center. Our intention with that is just an opportunity whenever it comes to like health flares, whether it's, flu shots or checkups or whatever it might be, to work with your community here to just keep our families healthy and use some of the resources that we have. That's very unique too, by the way. We want to keep everybody healthy. And then you're also going to notice that there is a maintenance location there. And then in the back, I want to specifically take a look because you're going to see there's a couple of bathrooms, but the fitness area and the playroom. Now, this is what's going to be really unique for us outside of having the traditional play set outside and playground, which we put adjacent to the healthcare center, because I've been in the healthcare center for maybe 25 years now myself, and I know our seniors love watching the kids play. So you'll notice that. But we're doing a playroom inside that's very unique. And I don't want you guys to picture something like Chuck E. Cheese or, the play set. It's really more of your basic play area. But what we were thinking is that if you're on the treadmill and you're working out, and that you can see your kids playing while you get a chance to still work out and get your workout in, and they can be inside, because today it would be too cold to have the kiddos outside like that. So that's something unique. And then also that community room, what we're really excited about is we have a lot of community rooms in our properties, right? But with this particular workforce housing, we thought, how can we make this more of an opportunity like a classroom? If there's training training that folks that are coming in from the community that are interested just on the workforce side of presentations and job fairs and ways for them to use the space and not just your typical community room. Now, you'll notice in that community room space, though, it still does have the kitchen and all of the spaces where if you were hosting church, luncheon after church, one of our residents were, or, you know, birthday parties or whatever, you're still able to use that space for that too. But we really wanted to just focus on how we could helping families minus having a daycare, because we are not in the daycare business and we never will be. As we move over to the next slide, you're going to see the building floor plan, and that's of the buildings itself. There are 10 total that you'll see on the original site plan. And so you'll just kind of see how they're laid out. Which again, we were just thinking of convenience for families and how you kind of get in the car, get home from work, the groceries, in and out, but also connectivity is very, very important to us. You'll notice as you go to the next slide, it is the 1 and 2 bedroom and then the 2 and 3 bedroom, which we really only have the 2 bedrooms here. So you'll notice that. Any questions there? And then the next one is the 3 and 4 bedroom. And then, Mayor, just briefly, if it's okay, one of the things that I provided with our application is the narrative about our project. And so if it's okay, I'll just briefly share that and then maybe open it up for questions, and happy to answer anything as we move forward. But the development description for Watseka Flats. Laborers Home Development Corporation, LHDC, proposes Watseka Flats, a 50-unit family housing community in Watseka, Illinois. The 9.5-acre site will include a mix of 2, 3, and 4-bedroom homes designed to meet the needs of working families. This development will provide high-quality, affordable housing that strengthens both resident stability and the broader Watseka community. Amenities. At the center of Watseka Flats will be a multi-purpose community building that serves as a hub for learning, wellness, and connection. The building includes a flexible community room for classes, meetings, and family activities, an indoor play center for children, a fitness space to support health and wellness. In addition, a sidewalk trail system will circle the property, creating opportunities for outdoor activity and linking residents to the nearby Peters Park. Resident services. Resident services will be designed to support families with tools for growth and long-term success. LHDC will provide financial education to build stability and pathways towards future goals, skill building and workforce readiness programs to expand career opportunities, health and wellness initiatives focus on active living and nutrition. Community impact. Watseka Flats will be more than a housing development. It will be a community catalyst. By combining high-quality housing with shared spaces and supportive services, the project will foster pride, resilience, and the opportunity for residents while contributing to the vitality and growth of Watseka as a whole. Conclusion. Watseka Flats reflects LHDC's commitment to building strong communities through housing and supportive services. As our top priority development, LHDC looks forward to partnering with IDA to bring this vision to life for the families of Watseka. And with that, I will be happy to answer any questions. I have provided a little bit more information related strictly to the zoning. That's also in your packets as well. But I feel like maybe I should stop now and see if we have any questions or how I can be helpful moving forward.
Does the city retain ownership of the property, or will they sell the property to you?
Yes. Yes.
What is the cost of, like, to the city or the taxpayers?
Well, I can
take over the road and repair and stuff like that, but what other financial responsibilities do they have in getting this project through?
Outside of any opportunities with the TIF or any support with utilities or something like that would be on the table. I can tell you originally, we do buy properties. Originally, I can tell you this property was, I think, $90,000. That's not a problem for us to pay for that, but I will tell you for the application, which is why the city of Watseka went ahead and purchased it, is because the state then sees that Watseka is invested. It's a donation tax credit, which Illinois uses, and it shows that you got some skin in the game, that you want us there. However, we buy properties. So, but no, the city of Watseka will have no ownership of the property, as we will be the ones not only managing it, but staying above water and making sure it's a successful financial project for us.
Has every project been successful, or it has?
Yes. Blood, sweat, and tears. Yes. That's why we have had the pleasure of hanging on to them. But I will tell you, this business isn't easy. You know, it's yeah, the management and again, the quality of the work. So I really got to support my union and say it really comes down to the quality of not only the materials that you're using, but the work that's being done. You get a guarantee with us. You know, that's it.
And going to you call it a community building. Now, is that just exclusive for the members that live within that?
It is, but if one of our residents was lived there and wanted to host a luncheon for her church, of course she could.
Now, is there a cost to those residents to
No.
rent a community room or
No.
fitness? Or, there's
No,
that's part of it.
no, we can do that, but typically we don't.
Typically, we have a deposit to make sure everything's okay with it.
Yeah, there might be a small deposit you put down to make sure you haven't had some big shindig or something like that. But it's not an issue at all that we ever have a problem with at all. And our senior communities, a lot of our projects are 62 and over, and I will tell you, they do have a good time. So their community rooms are used.
But I just didn't know if other people, say, around the community would say,
Yeah, no, that's a question we get. It's a good question because I know sometimes folks want to do that, but honestly, you would have to be invited by a tenant or a resident to use that. So a local organization can't just come in and use the space unless somebody that lives there is involved and invites them to do so.
I would think that the local manager would also have say and control of the community room.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Local manager would talk to the local resident and say, oh yeah, on Sunday I'm gonna have
Yep,
my
there
church
is
group
a
over.
whole documentation for it and everything that we have in
He's just
place.
asking if the general public can just come in and use that building however
Oh
they want.
yeah.
It's gonna be controlled.
Oh, goodness sakes, yeah. Yeah, and what's really nice, if you're ever interested to, any of you, as well as our friends back here, would ever be interested in coming to visit any of our properties, we would love to have you. And of course, you could visit with us or just stop by if you have to be out and about and want to just make a visit. But we'd love to host you so you could come and see, so it's not just the mayor or myself standing here. You know, again, I care a great deal about my own community, so I know what you all deserve and should have. And I feel this project provides that.
and it's just rentals. They don't
Just-
purchase, it's just all rentals.
Yeah.
It never changes.
That's right.
And then what happens, say, an individual, they're close to that income level,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say they get a raise or something, and they go above that. How soon are they kicked out? Does the rent go up?
Yeah.
What's the
No.
turnover, or how does that work?
Once you qualify for a LIHTC unit, you always qualify. We do check their income annually, but you are not made to move out. So,
If it went up,
yeah, even if
does
they
the
went
rent
up,
go up then?
no. It's just the way the program works. Once you qualify, you always qualify.
We hope that people do better. We hope that.
Is
Right.
that-
You very seldom see somebody stay once their income goes up because, everybody has goals. So,
They want to buy a house.
they do want to buy a house and they do want to move on, but technically we don't make people move out. No, not as they do better.
On income.
Right. On income.
What is
Right.
your overturn, like, in a, say, a community looking on this project, do you expect people to, I'm sure there's somebody who keeps a statistic
Oh, yeah.
that says, in a year, 4 of the units.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you not far from here, not too far from here in Ladd, Illinois. So Ladd, not too far. That was one of our recent projects. Now that's a 40 unit project, 40 or 60?
It's 40.
40 unit project. And we have not had 1 2-bedroom available since we opened it in 2023
Yeah, and I think we've had 1,
or 2.
2 maybe vacants in the whole year of 25.
Yeah. So
units.
I could talk about whether it's Tiger. I will just tell you across the board for all of our properties, I do a monthly, of course, report that I look at. So we're 95% across the board for laborers, home development, and all of our properties. We have no availability in most of our locations.
There is such a need for housing right now.
How would the public find out that you had?
Availability? Yeah, so we're required by law. We have to advertise. Even if we have a wait list, we have to advertise. So most of the time, typically, a lot of our newspapers aren't, around like they used to be. So a lot of it is your social media technology that we reach out. But with our last project, we just did our 100% lease up on December 31st of a project in Sunnybrook, our Alton, Illinois, called the Community of Sunnybrook. And that was a 40-unit family housing. We had over 300 applicants with only 40 units. So we really, and I got to tell you, it was so hard because so many people wanted to live there and wanted to be there. But there's a list, and you just gotta go down the line with it. So there is a big need in pretty much any community we are, but just know we wouldn't be here talking to you if we hadn't looked at your report and your study and talked to Ida and all the folks you've been working with to show that this is a need. I mean, we're going to pay for a new market study that will actually happen here in just a couple of weeks, as we've invested a lot just to make sure that this is the right opportunity, and you all have a need, and you do. So hopefully you might be like the folks in Paris or some of our other locations like Ladd that I just mentioned, and the city and community is reaching out to us to come in and help them with another community. So sometimes we'll have a family housing, and then we may have a senior housing as well in the same community.
What really expedited some of this is, and Eric Brandt can contest, he's been working on flood mitigation grant for the last over 5 years, and we've taken 75 homes down.
That's right. I know we
have a potential 25 more going to go down in the
Yeah.
next 6 months, or at least this year.
right.
So we have the need.
Yeah, we definitely have talked, and I've had the pleasure of driving around town a little bit with him as well, and certainly spending a lot of time to research that, as again, these projects are really tough, and so we're not going to invest our money and time, and if it doesn't score well and it's not a great fit. But Watseka is an incredible community, and so we're very, very passionate about the work we're doing here.
So once you would start this project, let's say it goes through, you don't just build 3 or 4 and see how it goes. And it's all in at
Yeah.
that point.
Oh, yeah. We have a very, very strict schedule. We just went through a
So hate to see
construction
3 be built and then go, "Oh, it didn't
process.
work
No.
out."
Is it 2 years we had from the time?
We really have about a year and a half, but
No, I was going to say.
2 years. So our project that we just leased up, which if you get a chance to take a look at our website or look up the Sunnybrook project, I can tell you we started that project as far as construction at the beginning of the year, which was in April. We closed. It happened immediately, and we just finished leasing up the last unit on the 31st of December. They were finishing a little bit of the playground because of the weather and things like that, but that project's 100% leased up. Started construction in April, and we have a full house right now. officially. So that's about how quick it goes. But just know the state, the state and federal government isn't going to award us a project if we aren't like shovel ready and ready to go. It's just not even a question, so.
And you say
Happens quick.
that this project has passed the preliminary stages with the state.
It did. It did. It was a big deal. So so we submitted the preliminary application to the state of Illinois and their housing back in September. And we heard back, goodness sakes, in the first week of December. And they said, you guys are doing great. The project's great. It's a quality of life piece as well. And we scored pretty well just to make sure that our quality of life pieces were all scoring very well. I will say we work with the best team, though, whether it's the best architect, the best LIHTC attorneys in the state, to the best construction company. And we've been doing it 50 years. I don't get to take all the credit. It's the folks before me. So we really get to be used as an example for the state of Illinois. And I'm not exaggerating. Your own market or your own housing study should show you that. I hadn't even talked to you yet when they were using our properties as examples of how to do this right.
Question I've got about the rent. So the initial time of the renter moving in, that rent never changes?
No, it definitely changes, just like rent would.
Right.
That you would typically have, because remember the AMI changes, but also the rent does change a little. It can kind of vary. I'll let Tammy explain it, but no, absolutely, the rent does change.
And what I meant by that is it doesn't change because of their income.
Take the microphone, please.
Because, expensive, when I said that their rent doesn't go up earlier, I meant because of their income. If they got an increase of income, that wouldn't cause their rent to go up, right? But rent does go up. Like, we try to do annually because, expenses go up annually. So we try to do like most of our properties right now, I think we're doing a January 1, and we really evaluate that every year to what we need, because the project needs to have enough money to take care of itself, right? Because we're taking care of it. We're mowing, we're doing repairs. So we have to do what we have to do to keep it going, but at the same time, those rents are still restrictive, so we've got to stay under what the state says we have to stay under.
So does the renter fill out an application or a form every year and say, my new income is this X amount of dollars?
Yes, we do recertifications every year just to check in on them, make sure where their income is, whether, there's certain forms that the state requires us to fill out once a year. It's mainly because of compliance.
Yeah. And I will tell you, for laborers home development, we go an extra step. And that is, we have a third-party compliance. We have an organization that does our third-party compliance. So those recerts, those applications, you guys, seriously, just with the Sunnybrook project we just did, not only do we have to approve the tenant, so it's a very extensive lot of background check to, like I said, landlord, to not only their income, to their credit, to everything, but not only go through ours, then we have a third party that it goes to. It has to go through them. And depending on your county or your community, like in Alton, it also had to go through the city's process. So it literally has to go through 3. So what we do is we do some screening every year, not only for the recertification to see where everybody's at, but, down to making sure we don't have anybody living there that shouldn't be on any kind of criminal level. Because we take that very serious as well. So it's a part of what we do, but you've got to stay on top of that every year, and we go an extra step on that, but we manage our property, so we're making sure we're keeping everybody safe.
Somebody convicted of a felon automatically application kicked out?
It depends on the timeline and how old it is and what the felony would be. But that's not anything typically that we deal with. But also something that you really want to pay attention to is, to make sure there's nobody that have had, any sex crimes or stuff like that too, that we just always have to, keep a checkout on. But for our investors, they want to make sure that we are looking at everything as well. So there's several different layers of folks that are involved behind the scenes, and it is a ton of work to keep up. But we do go that extra step just to make sure it's not just us and Laborers Home Development, that we actually pay an organization to look at all of our files, and it has to go through them before we can even get approved. And believe me, if you were talking to our staff today, you would be like, Carly, it's so strict. It is very strict.
Furnished apartments, what's included in that?
In your apartments?
Yeah.
So we don't have all the details of everything, but it typically is going to, of course, include outside of your bedrooms. Just know anything over, I think a 2-bedroom has 2 bathrooms, a bath and a half or 2 bathrooms. It's going to have a laundry room. We know how important it is to not be dragging your laundry all over the place, to have laundry in your units. You're also going to have your traditional, whether it is your dishwasher or your garbage disposal, the typical things that would be in your unit, as well as blinds and all of the important pieces like that. But we love patios and places to sit and be neighborly, and that's a priority for us too. So, but in the units, it's all.
4-bedroom is 2 bath?
That's correct.
3-bedroom is 2 bath?
Does
Yep.
that include refrigerator, stove, washer,
Yeah,
dryer?
absolutely. Yeah, I'm sorry, I should have said that. Yes, absolutely. That includes all of your appliances and everything as well.
And the maintenance of them?
And are you kidding me? Yes, my maintenance man is not here right now. So yes, he's the one that fortunately oversees all of that, and I know everything's electric as well per the maintenance director on this project. So yeah, but no, he maintains everything, and that's why I say, I really, really appreciate your time and would love to host you at any of our properties to come and see. I mean, we have some in Jacksonville that I know Mayor Allhands visited. We have a couple, and those projects are over 50 years old. And he said, wow, those are so nice. We work hard.
And that's where your group is from Jacksonville, correct?
We're from Springfield. Tammy's in Jacksonville. But yeah, our Midwest region offices are out of Springfield, Illinois. But yeah, we have projects all around the state of Illinois. But we only really do a project or two. Like, we've really don't have a ton of projects, and we like to have them small as well. A lot of developers want to get as many units as they can out of it because it's the bottom line. But we manage these projects, so we don't want to manage large projects, and it's just not the right fit for us. So makes it a little bit harder sometimes, but
Do you have to refresh an apartment, say a coat of paint?
yeah, well, we always refresh them, typically on any long-term resident turnover, but just know we do inspections every year. So sometimes more than a couple of times. It really just depends. So we're going to know right away as far as making sure that our tenants and residents are taking care of their apartments, because that would have a lot to do with how that turnover works. So inspections for us are to just make sure people are being healthy and there isn't anything that would be causing anything dangerous, fire hazards, those kinds of things. So our maintenance team and our property managers, they do inspections. That's required of all of our properties for every unit. So it really just depends whether it's a senior project or it is a family unit. If you've had someone living there, for 14 years, clearly that's a little bit more of a turnover, but they wouldn't be there 14 years if they weren't taking care of it. So, but it really depends, but it's very normal for us to refresh.
Inspection process that you use?
I'm sorry?
There is an annual inspection.
Oh, goodness sakes, yeah. And sometimes there's more than one annual, but that's something that we facilitate in a part of our lease. And our property managers and our maintenance teams, they become part of the family of the community too. So they're in and out for lots of reasons, but it's a big part of what we do to just make sure that we keep our properties up to date and nice. And you'll never see a couch or anything on any of our properties anywhere you go ever. It's not allowed in any way, shape.
We try to do twice-a-year inspections, but we also have other reasons to go in. You know, we change the filters. Like, we try to change the filters, any filter that's in the apartment at least quarterly. So that's another visit in. If you have pest control come monthly or quarterly, then the maintenance man goes around with them also. So other than those 2-time inspections, we're in the units a lot.
Any other discussion?
What would you tell a vendor who, say, sells supplies here in town? We're small.
Yeah.
And they say, well, they're going to Kankakee, to Lowe's, or wherever you might go. What would you tell those people that are hoping, to keep business within the town?
Well, yeah, of course. Well, I wish my property manager or my maintenance team was here to answer that, but it's out of convenience. And also, I mean, we definitely want to be involved.
That's just for maintenance. I'm just saying this project, when it starts,
Yeah.
there's no guarantees that local vendors will be used.
Well, I could get back to you on that to tell you a little bit more about what our union folks and the construction team would tell you. But certainly a lot of it is local. I mean, that's a big part of what we do. But I can't answer specifically if it was a particular place or not. But I can tell you if they normally work with the unions, then they would probably be working with us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like I said, on the management side of it, I work with the invoices, so I see a lot of invoices come in, and we work with a lot. You know, we have a property in Denison, Iowa. We work with their true value. You know, if it's plumbing parts or something we're going to use on an everyday basis, we have that maintenance man here in town. We're not going to send a maintenance man 30 miles down the road or 40 to go get a part that he needs to put in the unit. So. Can't make promises, but I can tell you that we do use local for the everyday items in the units.
Is your property manager going to be local? Are they going to live in our area?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, typically they live in the area. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they would be available if needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, on your renters, you said it's going to be an all-electric apartment. Do they have to pick up the electric bills, or is that included in the
Yes. Yes, they will pay for their own electricity. And I'm not sure on this one if they'll pay water too. We'll do trash. We usually have trash dumpsters. But the thing to remember on that also, when it comes to how much rent we can charge, we have to allow them so much for utilities also. So if the maximum rent is $500 or $400 and the average rent in this area is $50 or $75, we have to go below that. We can't charge rent up to that. So there's an allowance made for that.
If not, we'll discuss the motion. Anybody else has any questions? Okay. As per the request from the city, I would like to hear a motion made that we rezone the classification, we change the classification of the city of Watseka as requested by the city of Watseka to accommodate potential developers of the Muller subdivision located between East Elm Street and Raymond Road from R2 single-family residence to R4 multi-family residence. Would somebody like to make that motion?
I'll make it.
Rick, need a second?
I'll make it.
Rick has made a motion, and Susie has seconded. Kathy, would you call the roll, please?
Jeff Clare,
Yes.
Rick Elliott,
Yes.
Kate Muller, Joel Nazars,
Yes.
Dwayne Purvis,
Yes.
Suzanne Kennedy,
Yes.
Murray Schomburg.
Yes.
Roll call carried.
Motion's carried unanimously. So our recommendation to the city would be to change the classification. When's the next meeting, Mayor, for you?
Our code meeting is tomorrow night.
So you would take this up tomorrow night?
Yeah.
We'll discuss it tomorrow, then it'll be on,
Full
Council.
council, last Tuesday, which is a week. from Tuesday.
27th,
Okay.
January
We'll
27th.
pass that recommendation on to the council.
Yeah.
I appreciate you folks coming up, spending an hour with it, over an hour
It's
discussion.
a pleasure. We're here for the long haul. So my information is also on the back of that. And certainly for you folks here, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'd be happy to be on the call or come have a cup of coffee and answer any questions you might have. We want to be the best neighbors. So, but we welcome all of you also to reach out at any time, and just can't thank you enough for the opportunity to be a part of this community. So,
I can tell from my own experiences over the weekend that you go to their website and they've got all 14 properties on there, pictures of all 14 properties, and it's pretty informational,
yeah,
pretty impressive.
thank you. Thank you very much.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Okay, we've got a motion to adjourn from Kate, second.
I will.
Got Jeff Clare makes a second. Call the roll, please, Kathy.
Murray Schomburg,
Yes.
Dwayne Purvis, Joel Nazars, Kate Mueller, Rick Elliott, Jeff Clare, Suzanne Kennedy.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, Kathy, for doing this for us.
Thanks, Kathy.